Hello YouTube! Spacepod here, taking another ride in the full NASA EVA suit. I'm still a relative newcomer here to the motorcycle vlogging world. So, I'm probably going to head down to Bouquet Canyon and do a run. It's pretty early here still, maybe 8 o'clock-ish, Sunday morning. I live in North LA County. And there's a few good canyon roads right near me. Bouquet Canyon's one of my favorites. I hear some weird noise by my brakes. And there's also Angeles Crest Highway, which is pretty well known in the motorcycle community around here. There's also GMR, which is Glendora Mountain Road. That's a great road. Good lane choice, buddy. And let's see, there's a lot of roads. There's Cuddy Mountain Road, also known as Mills Potrero. I think it's the same thing. So anyway, lots of good roads here, lots of good riding, good weather. Lane splitting is permissible, that's the correct term. That means it's neither legal or illegal, it's just permissible. Only state in the union which allows it. It's something where if you lane split reasonably well or reasonably, you're not going to be cited by a cop. You can even lane split behind cops, in front of cops, around them. Just don't be a jackhole and you should be fine. Of course, you can use the carpool lane on a motorcycle because it's a high occupancy vehicle. Although why they let people with kids use the carpool lane, I don't know. Because, you know, it's not like they're taking kids off the road or anything. Kids can't drive. What's the deal? But, whatever. I can use it on a bike, that makes me happy. My other vehicle is a smart car, so I have a fast vehicle and a slow vehicle. The bike I'm riding, as you may have guessed, is a 2009 GSX-R 750, and I bought it used. I've had a bunch of bikes, but the 750 is a nice compromise between my former R1 and the GSX-R that I used to have, the 07. So I really like the 750 a lot. I also like the 09 GSX-R because it's got the flash to pass button in the right place. They sort of move this button favoring the engine map button, but, oh god, I hate that term. But, you know, how many times do you really change an engine map? I saw someone post this was funny, but they said, if you're gonna switch the engine map, you got the wrong bike. Unless, of course, it's wet, but it almost never rains here in California. So the flash to pass button is still in a good location on this model bike this year. And that is super useful at night when you're lane splitting. And maybe you want to get someone's attention in the side mirrors. Really handy. Also for when you have a car in your lane overtaking a bunch of cars on a back road. Don't ask me how I know that, but I know from experience. I tried to wave so you could see me in the camera. Okay, so I'm still a new motorcycle vlogger. I've looked at a bunch of vlogs on YouTube, from Elk Phaser to Crichton to Bill something or other, you know who you are, and others. Oh yeah, what's his face in Taiwan. Lots of good stuff out there. I'm in Southern California, as I mentioned earlier, and with my videos you'll get to see a bunch of that footage. It's kind of cool to see what people are riding, where they're riding, the sights, everything. This actually has 3 lanes for the left turn. It's pretty cool. I guess it's a popular road. So yeah, just seeing the different sights is pretty cool. Different parts of the world while someone's riding, whatever they're riding. Another perk in California, especially on a Sunday, is you'll see a lot of pretty cool vehicles out there. Depends where you go. If you go to like Malibu, you might see a Lamborghini Club, Porsche Club, whatever, T-Rex Club. Let's see, the camera, obviously GoPro Hero 2, which I explain in my notes on my site. And I have a chin bar mount using the GoPro helmet mount. So I don't really have mine obviously set up like the picture for the helmet mount. I have it upside down on the chin bar. So it's good because it gives you a lot of room to adjust the camera angle to compensate for the head position when you're riding a sport bike. And I think it works out very nicely. I know some vloggers, they put the camera right in the helmet itself, which is a quick and dirty solution. It's nice. It gives a great view. But I think this is better and there's no visual impediment at all. And it's very stable. Been getting a lot of stop and go lights where you stop, put your foot down, and then the light turns green. Okay, so I am on Bouquet Canyon Road. This is a nice road out here. And I live near here, so this is sort of my home road. But when I first rode it, I was like, what? Yellow light. When I first rode it, I was pretty blown away. I'm not used to this lighting because I don't usually go out this early. But it's good lighting. If you go out here too late in the day, the sun's all in your eyes at certain places. Yeah, and I ride alone a lot, just because I like people, of course. I'm not antisocial. It's just that when I want to ride, I just want to go. I don't want to wait for anybody or wait for a hookup or wait for a certain day. Sometimes I just do a quick ride and I just do it when the mood strikes. Much like mastication. That's mastication, eating, you perps. You eat when you're hungry. You ride when you got the urge. So, if I go silent, it's because I'm concentrating. And my nose itches. Crazy. That's like a trike right there. I gotta itch my nose. Guess I'll wait till I stop again. Now I know what astronauts go through. You are my red light friend, itching my nose. Scratch it. So hopefully you can hear me. I did some tests and I'm fairly certain this is a good mic setup. And it was pretty good on the freeway. I'm fairly certain it'll be good in the twisties. I also found some good settings for the multi-band compressor. So obviously I get rid of the wind noise as much as possible. And I add some boost to the volume in the right places, and it works out. The mic itself, I think I mentioned this in the beginning, it's an ME15 by Olympus. It's just a simple mono mic. Omnidirectional, which at first I thought was, oh shit, my nose is just really effing bad. I don't know why. Good scratch, there we go. But the mic, despite being mono, it's easily fixed in Premiere. You just, on the clip itself, just go to Modify, Audio, Mono S Stereo, and of course unclick the right channel. I saw that on a YouTube tutorial. Easy to fix. You don't need any converters, adapters, all that junk. Just fix it in your editing program. Okay, now about me. I'm an artist-musician. Make my living as an artist, and been riding since, I don't know, forever. Since I was 15. I'm 44. I know I sound younger. Get over it. If you hear me change accents, don't be alarmed. It's just me. Just something I do for fun. I've had a bunch of bikes, starting with scooters. 50cc scooter, Honda Spree, about 1984. Honda 150 Deluxe, 86 or so. That was amazing. And then had a friend get in an accident, so I got spooked and went without bikes for a while, but never really got over not having a bike. And then 1999, my brother was starting to get into bikes. He got an SV650, the naked one, and I actually rode that home for him. Loved it. So I got a used Ninja 250, and that was fun. So put a few thousand miles on that. Then my brother went to work up north, and I used his SV650 for a while and just really loved that bike. So I got my own. Got an SV650S model, that's the paired model, in 2002. So the SBS had a little bit more of a stretched out riding position, more plastic, had the whole fared look, which I like in bikes. I don't like a lot of wind on me. Speaking of wind, I always had a Bouquet double bubble windscreen to every bike I owned. And that started in 2002, and I really started modifying my SB because I was going to keep it for a while. And the Bouquet double bubble called the sport version. That's a really nice windscreen. Really helps with the wind blast, especially on a Gixxer or an R1, where the windscreen is just going to put air on your chest if you're tall and right at your throat if you're shorter like me. After the SV, I got an R1, 2005, got the Raven, also known as Black. That was awesome. And I got to try that by renting a friend's bike for a day with insurance and contract and everything. And I fell in love with that thing. What's nice about the R1 is it's very narrow. So if you're short of leg, like I am, it's easy to put. I'm 5'3", by the way, so I'm a short ass. 150 pounds. So the challenge for me, like a tall rider, the tall riders have to worry about being comfortable once they're underway. Once they're on the bike, they're usually cramped, they got their knees in their face. Shorter riders, we worry about what we're doing when we're stuffed, how we're holding up the bike, how we're going to back up, how we deal with gravel or holes that we could step in. And believe me, if you're a short rider, you know this firsthand. There's even like lists and news groups for shorter riders, just because of their unique challenges they face. So, yeah, so I had an R1, loved it. Then I got a Gixxer 600 as a backup bike when I had no car. I had two bikes, I had the Gixxer and the R1. So, I had a bike and a backup bike. I say backup because the R1 was my preferred bike for canyons and commuting and everything. The Gixxer had a little bit of low speed lash to it, which I never really got rid of, and so I preferred the R1. My gearing's all messed up, or basically I'm messing up these turns, what I'm trying to say, probably because I'm talking. Watch out, little birdie! So yeah, and then around 2009 had some financial issues because I was freelancing and things were slow for a bit, so I sold all my bikes. And in 2012, this year, I got a 2009 GSX-R 750. Super great engine size. Because, you know, the R1 is always overkill. It's fun, but it's overkill on the street. 600, you know, you got to shift a little bit more, not as good on the freeway. feel like riding like crap right now, I'm not sure why. The tires feel a little square to me. Even though I haven't been doing a lot of straight line riding. If you do a lot of freeway riding, your tires will square off, and you'll feel it in the twisties. So if the grip feels different one day, I may ride more slowly. I usually check my tire pressure every time I ride, before every ride. Sometimes I might skip a time. It's a good practice. I always like to know where I'm at with tire pressure. I don't ever want to be like feeling weird stuff and then thinking, hey, I don't even know what my tire pressure is, because it's better to know than to not know. This is like a little cafe diner type thing up here. So the Puig windscreen is good. I also have the Pozzo levers, the shorty levers, with blue anodized adjusters. For one, being able to adjust your clutch is a big deal. And two, they're just nicer. They're nicer to interact with. So Pozzo levers go on every bike I own. This bike also has a Yoshimura R55 exhaust, which was installed by the previous owner. Which I like. It's a slip-on. It sounds great. Not too loud. Probably what I would have chosen. Almost exactly. He also de-stickered it in exactly the way I would have done. One of the reasons I bought this bike is I love the white, and I'm also doing a NASA theme. As you can tell by my leathers, I have a theme for space and space exploration. My smart car also has a space shuttle theme, which I'll show sometime. And being an artist, I see vehicles as a canvas. Of course, I see the brilliant design already in certain vehicles, artistically, aesthetically, and I appreciate the engineering side of it, but sometimes it's fun to make them into theme vehicles. With my SV, I actually had a Mars theme. I crashed the blue fairings when I got some aftermarket fairings, painted them orange, Angelo Orange Pearl by House of Color. And then I started doing Mars theme, which I may do again later. I actually want to do another set of body panels for the Smart car, since the body panels are meant to be replaced or swappable. That's the swatch part of Smart. Smart actually means, it stands for Swatch Mercedes Art. That's what that means. So I might do another set of body panels someday that are Martian themed, but you'll see more of that in that video. You know, sometimes there's those days when you feel like you're crawling. And then there's those days where you tear it up. I feel like I'm crawling right now, but that's okay. Not out to set speed records, and I'm not on a track, so I always take it pretty easy on the street, well within my abilities. I always like to have something left. If I need to dial in more lean angle, I want to be fairly confident I can do it in case there's some kind of hazard, a rock, a person making some kind of U-turn on a blind corner. So I always leave something in reserve. And there's been many times that I needed it. Like the other day, I was on the back straight on this loop that I do. And there was a car in my lane passing like 5 people and not too much in a hurry to get out of my lane. So that was a good time where I wasn't speeding, like really speeding. If you saw the road, you'd understand why I say that, because long straight, pretty good visibility. That is until you get to a blind ride, so you never know what's over that blind ride. It could be a line of cars or the car is passing them. Sometimes people make really dumb decisions and they don't understand the concept of blind corner, blind rise. Apparently Andrew Trevitt of Sport Rider fame, he's an editor for Sport Rider. So he ran into someone doing a U-turn on a blind corner on Angeles Crest, and yeah, you can't walk now, so that's not a good thing for people to do that, obviously. You guys know that, right? Okay. Little beatbox. I'll try not to beatbox too much. Okay, coming up to the left here, this is Bouquet Canyon, which it's kind of a great road if you're on a small bike or a supermoto. It's a little bit dirty though, and super challenging. There's some like downhill hairpins and stuff like that. I'm not too good at those. I don't like them, is the main thing. But there's some fun parts of it. I tend to like sweepers I can see through, and some of the tighter stuff that I can see through is not bad. Give these guys a wide berth. Mormons, what are you doing out here? Just kidding. Yeah. So this suit I'm wearing is a NASA EVA replica suit. Basically, I went to a custom suit maker just because buying leathers in my size, first of all, leathers are expensive, so you want everything to fit, and it has to fit because it's something you're wearing for a crash, so if they don't fit right, you're going to get hurt just with all the sliding and rubbing, and you want all the hard parts to match up with your body, so Getting a custom suit is almost always the best option for many people, simply because a lot of us can't just buy something off the rack. And if you're going to heavily modify it anyway, might as well go custom from the outset. So, I have a black suit from Z Custom, crashed that, and then after that I got this suit made, and I basically designed it myself just based on the NASA EVA suit, which is extravehicular activity, and that's just commonly known as a white spacesuit. And Adolf over at Z Custom seemed to enjoy making it. He said it was one of the coolest suits he's made, and of course I know that. Just kidding. But no, I do like it. I think it is one of the coolest suits ever. Not because it's original, but because pretty much not many people have done it. At the time, I hadn't seen anyone who had done it. And then I found one video of a guy that was at NASA with a sort of a space suit and a space themed jigsaw. So that was cool. They did a pretty good job. But theme suits are getting sort of more popular. You have Star Wars themed leathers, which are pretty nicely done, and you have, there was one guy on YouTube, a vlogger with a Predator helmet, an Australian guy. Sorry, I forgot your name, dude. Wasn't really a helmet, but I think he was trying to make into some kind of external cover. What else? So, yeah, there's a few. That's a crazy corner. It's like off camber and blind. So you have the Star Wars outfits and some others out there. So I went with space, and I'm probably going to do some subtle space markings. On this bike, since I can cut my own vinyl. If you're into themes like me, cutting your own vinyl is a good thing. Just because stickers are expensive, it takes a while to ship, you don't know how big they are, and they don't have everything you want. I got into cutting vinyl because when I bought a sticker for my car, the last one I bought was $30. And it was a one-color vinyl. Basically, it was one of those custom things where you can type in the font and type in the word that you want, all that stuff, and specify size. And I believe it was 18 inches long, $30, and that didn't include shipping. And I was like, F this, I'm learning how to cut my own vinyl. And so yeah, I do that now. It's fun. Stickers on this bike are actually from JPL when I was there in person. So they're special. But yeah, I like to wear all my gear all the time. And as someone who's actually crashed on the 405 freeway here, I don't know what happened, but the bike spit me off. It's kind of a bumpy, there's a bumpy carpool lane section on the 405, which California drivers will understand. And there's like a rampy section. So I hit the ramp at just the wrong or right speed, and suddenly I was sliding behind my bike as my bike was parked ahead of me in the carpool lane. At about freeway flow speed, which is 65 miles an hour or so, roughly. And all I had was a tiny bit of road rash on each pinky, which is odd, and a little bit of bruising from the impact. Otherwise, I was fine. So the leather has literally saved my hide. And that was just a work commute. All I was doing was going to work. There was nothing funny going on. I was taking the same lane like I had taken for years on many, many bikes. And this was was a perfect storm, or an imperfect storm, I should say. Nice Mercedes. There's some cows and horses. Or donkeys, it looks like. Mules. So yeah, I had full gear on, and I would change at work. Basically change my leather pants every day into regular jeans, whatever. And yeah, it paid off, man. Paid off. Scared the heck out of people I know though when they found out. It could have been worse, you know, there could have been people around me or I could have got run over. But the reason I even crashed was because of the speed and the angle at which I hit that bump and whatever was going on with my suspension on the GSX-R. If there were more people, probably would have been more traffic and I probably wouldn't have crashed. So yeah, a lot of coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but all in all it turned out pretty well. The cops were unsure how to handle it because they thought I was goofing around or something, and not at all. I don't do wheelies. I don't even know how to do a wheelie. It was just a normal commute day. So no, there was nothing funny going on. Except me crashing. But I had a giant space cushion by design, so that cushion helped me out too. This is why if anyone's ever tailgating you at speed, it's not a good thing. You crash, bam, you get run over. So, a lot of reasons to lose a tailgater or let them go ahead of you, if that happens. Okay, so this road is Elizabeth Lake, and yes, there was a lake back there. Look how it undulates. Going fast enough, it's pretty fun. Although, I don't like to go too fast here. That's a weird little road. Looks like a private access. So, there's cherry farms out here sometimes, during cherry season. Come pick your own cherries. There's also a llama farm out here. llamas. Okay, this road coming up is San Franciscquito, which is not Little San Francisco. Well, I guess literally it is by name. It's a great little road. This is the loop that I take just to get back home. Okay. Watch out, little birdie. What's up, guys? Can I join your gang? Just kidding. At least in King. Lion Hill. I wave at everybody. Cruiser, sport bike, scooter. Doesn't matter. I don't wave at bicyclists generally. Unless they tip me off to a cop. Which, whether I'm speeding or not, it's a nice gesture to warn me. As you know, you may not know, if you're a non-rider watching this, motorcyclists will sometimes warn each other of cops that are sitting around with a laser or radar, or just lurking with a little pat on the head. And it's just a courtesy signal to let you know that, hey, chill out. Now, this doesn't mean that you're speeding necessarily, but cops may or may not be on a low enforcement day, low tolerance day, sorry. So sometimes they'll give out tickets for stupid things. Sometimes they give out tickets for important things. That's all up to perception, obviously. But if you can avoid a ticket, why not? You could also just go super slow. But that's no fun. What's the point? I mean, to some, this is super slow, but faster than others. But what I mean is, if you go the postal limit, first of all, that's a basic speed law sign. Anytime you see the postal limit on these back roads, it's not actually the real speed limit. And it's a presumed safe speed, so obviously conditions matter, so if you're riding at 3 a.m. different than riding at daylight, and dry conditions, all that good stuff. Yes, I do fight traffic tickets. 6 for 7 victories. Now, that doesn't mean I had amazing cases for everyone. It just means that somehow I beat 6 out of 7. That doesn't include regular traffic toll. That's either a win, cop not showing up, extra traffic school, which judges can give out. But regular traffic school, of course, is not included because everyone gets that every 18 months in California. Which, if tickets were given for something valid, why do they give out traffic school at all? I mean, it's not like you can go to misdemeanor school, felony school. So it's kind of weird. I think it has to do with keeping people who happen to get a couple tickets in a row from freaking out and deciding to fight every single ticket from then on. It basically keeps the population from freaking out, and it keeps revenue high. Now, I'm not a conspiracy nut. It's just that that probably would happen more if there wasn't traffic security. And actually, that's why I fight tickets. It's because I finally got caught in a situation where, one, I got a ticket soon after another ticket, just a BS basic speed law ticket, and two, I got caught in an obvious speed trap. This road's really bumpy here. With an out-of-uniform cop on getting me on LiDAR, and then another cop writing the ticket, because there were like 6 cops, and they had a bunch of people pulled over, like 6 or 7 people, and they all looked scared as hell, or just shocked and bewildered. So, what created the monster, though, not the fact that she was out of uniform, but she gave me the smirk, like, I caught you like a fish in a barrel, you know. She was just too smug, and they were all rookies, I could tell, because they didn't have stripes, or they didn't all have stripes. And they just look like rookies. You can tell they're young and fresh-faced. So I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna fight this goddamn ticket. So I researched it, which is just something I like to do. I research everything I do. And I learned how to fight tickets. I read books, I went to Traffic, Ticket Assassin, and just read everything. I talked to the National Motors Association, joined up, and they gave me some great advice for free. And then I learned about engineering traffic surveys, which is how traffic engineers set speed limits. But that's not all. I mean, speed limits, there's also pressure from civilians, all that stuff. So anyway, I got the ENT survey, found out the speed limit was artificially low by 5 miles an hour, and yet they were enthusiastically ticketing people, and the reason the speed limit was set low, according to the ENT survey, was because of construction. Well, there hadn't been construction on that street for about a year, so it was an illegal speed trap. So I beat that ticket on an affirmative defense, which is basically, when you have a good case, you have an affirmative defense, not a technicality. And after that, about a month later, they raised the speed limit about 5 miles an hour. So I knew then that there was corruption in the system connected to revenue. I knew that I had the power to fight tickets. It gave me confidence, which in turn affected how I talk to cops at traffic stops. I'm very polite. It's just that I'm not afraid, because I know my rights. But I'm not one of those dicks who's gonna like harass a cop or say a bunch of shit that isn't true, trying to intimidate cops, because, you know, they're just doing their jobs. And when you claim knowledge, you really have to know what you're talking about. And you don't ever want to fight your case on the street. Cops are not prosecutors. They're just witnesses. So, I'm only saying this because there's a lot of people on YouTube like arguing with cops. That's just not necessary. In fact, you don't ever want to make yourself memorable to a cop. Anyway, so I beat that ticket, beat 5 others, and that's it. But you know what? I like cops. I'm glad they're out there. You know, they're in the system they're in. They have to show their worth. Sometimes that means writing bullshit tickets for 68 and 65, which most cops don't do, but they can do, and some may do it. They may write you a 60 in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, which is retarded. There's interpretation there. Sometimes they interpret favoring revenue, and sometimes it's based on you being a jerk. You know, they're being a condition of safety. I'm messing up this sentence, but basically sometimes it's all about safety and sometimes it's not. So that's that. But yep, so that's that. I'm not a lawyer though, I can't give advice. These are just my experiences. And I could certainly relay my experiences. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson. So yeah, there's that. Kind of nice that we bikers, we riders wave to each other. That's a cool thing. I suppose if you own an unusual car and you see another one like it, you might give them a wave like a bunch of smart car owners. Santa Claus is coming. So this is a nice long straight, except it's a little bumpy. There's a shooting range out here too. And it's a good place for a shooting range, it looks like. So yeah, you have the whole rundown on tickets. Ironically, because I fight every ticket, there's a little bit more work than just paying a ticket. And you still do pay when you buy tickets. It's just that if you win, you get a check back, which is a rewarding, let me tell you. Nothing like getting a check back from the county. And you're like, yeah, take it. I'm sure they don't like people who buy tickets, but, you know, it's alright. And they do have a respect for people that know their rights. It's really interesting to go into a courtroom. Court's in session, you need to talk to the bailiff, because you need an ENT survey, engineering and traffic survey, for a particular stretch of road. Go in there, ask for your survey, tell him where it is, look through the book, whatever, pick it out, and then he makes you a copy. He has to do it. It's your right to have it. Now, you may have to go to a clerk instead of a bailiff, but you go where they tell you to go. And it feels pretty amazing. Gives you options, because people that don't know their rights, you know, it's just luck of the draw. Like, everyone speeds at some point, especially on the freeway, because nobody goes 65. That would be silly. And in that sense, the freeway is a big speed trap, which I can describe in detail later. If you were to apply surface street speed laws to the freeway would be a speed trap, because traffic engineers base the surface street speed limit, or the prima-facie speed limit on the signs, based on the 85th percentile. And the 85th percentile, as you may guess, is the speed at which 85% of drivers are doing, which is it's considered that most people will do the reasonable and prudent speed for conditions. Because the other 50% are too fast or too slow. And yes, there are people that drive too slowly. And driving too slow can cause accidents as well, which is recognized by people who make speed laws. So when a speed limit is artificially low for any reason, it creates traffic disparity. Because you have people who take it literally, and, you know, it's the, quote, letter of the law on the sign, even though you can interpret it, and they will drive too slow, righteously so, or self-righteously so, and they will impede natural flow. And that creates more lane changes, creates more accidents. Ooh, trike. So, I think you're just waiting for me to pass her. That was nice. That's like an older woman on a Goldwing trike. Very cool. So, the traffic on the freeway, the free-flowing traffic in California, is not 65. I mean, free-flowing traffic is 75, 80. And, but cops, that's why cops don't generally ticket you for going 66 miles an hour, because they know that the real flow of traffic is not 65, even though that's the max speed, the national limit. So usually they have some sort of internal maximum that they'll tolerate, which is usually about 80. Or unless you're going faster than the cop. That's a no-no, usually. Depends what the cop's doing. Or how slow he's going. This road can be a little dirty right here, so I go pretty slow. I've been riding this for years, so this is not where I like to go too quick. There's more fun areas to go a little faster. So yeah, if you go no faster than 80 on the freeway in California, free-flowing conditions, you're generally pretty safe. Surface streets are a different issue. Why am I talking about speeding? Anyway, that might be TMI, but there it is. Some of you will find it fascinating. how this road goes up and down, undulates. It's kind of fun. Keep line rises here and there. Horsies. It sucks when you get stuck behind a car in this section. It's kind of fun. Skunk! Smelly. Okay, so this is, I'm back in Valencia. And that's the Bouquet Canyon to San Franciscquito loop. Amazing how slow some people take off from the lights. I mean, they barely move. Sometimes I'll be like 3 intersections down. I'm not even trying to go fast. And then I still see people that have barely even moved off the light or off the line. It's like they're sleeping. Find many sleepy riders, that's for sure. Riding, it takes concentration, and you're willing to give it because it's fun. The bike gives you a lot of feedback, and you're getting all the sensory input, and it takes some skill. You're not separated from your environment, you're in the environment. You smell everything. Your sight is unobstructed, even with a helmet on. You don't have a bunch of, you don't have a whole cage around you. It's like flying. Flying in 2D. Why do people like riding anyway? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's all the same reasons. Freedom. The open road. No, it's like, it is a sort of freedom because, well, on a bike you have power, you have air superiority or road superiority, kind of like an F-16 around a bunch of barnstormers, and you can park anywhere. You can slip through traffic pretty easily. Lane splitting is permissible in California. Got some weird pinching on my left hip. figure out what it is. Carpool lane, you can use the carpool lane on a bike. So for getting around, it's pretty awesome. Yep, and the acceleration is phenomenal. Which sometimes, because people don't see you or they don't look for you as much on a bike, sometimes you need that. And the braking is really good. It's very minimalist too. If you're a minimalist, then bikes are pretty awesome because you have the minimum things you need to transport yourself on a road. You know, with a motor, wheel, seat. That's about it. I mean, cars are great, but if you're just carrying yourself, why do you need 3 empty seats? You don't. Or 1 empty seat. So this about concludes my ride. I'm heading back to my place. Boom. Bumpy. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed me rambling on about various subjects that interconnected with all the diversions and rants and subtext. Irrelevancies, all that good stuff, mate. Maybe you learned a little thing or two about tickets. And hope you enjoyed the footage. I think I have the camera at a good angle. I've tried various settings. But this angle should be pretty good, a good compromise between seeing my bike in the mirrors and the controls and the horizon. It's also 1080p, 30 frames per second. And on the GoPro, you don't get a lot of options for field of view in 720p. You just have the wide option, which I don't really like it too wide. It looks kind of weird. I prefer the medium field of view. So I'm using 1080p because it gives me that option for medium field of view. That was a fuck it moment. Didn't want an emergency brake. Didn't really need to, so went for it. Thought about it though, you could see. So one little tip, YouTubers, you see this divided road, how nice and open it is, and it's very wide, it's over 40 feet wide and it's divided. This has a real speed limit of 65 miles an hour, but the postal limit is 50 miles an hour, see? That's not the real speed limit. The real speed limit is 65. That's the max speed. That 50 mile an hour you saw was the presumed safe speed. Of course, 50 is way too motherfucking slow for this road. In dry conditions, you know, no pedestrian traffic, all of that matters when you're fighting a ticket. So just keep that in mind. If you're in doubt and you want to go over the postal limit, just don't go over the max limit. For an undivided road, the max limit is 55 miles an hour. But this is a divided road, so it's higher. And there's other things too. There's some exemptions for like schools, businesses, whatever. But basically, that's it. Why did I stop here? I was switching legs. Normally I put my left leg down. That time, put my right leg down. So there you have it. This is also a 65 mile an hour limit as well, although it may be different because it's residential. But like on a highway, divided, when there's like shrubbery in the middle and all that stuff, there's a lot of enforcement on those roads usually because speeds go up. People feel comfortable, they may enjoy the road, it easily supports their speed, and yet the posted limit is low and it gets enforced. Those are pretty easy to fight. Anyway, see you later, YouTube.